Welcome back to the San Diego Opera Podcast. I'm Nick Ravelis. My guest today is bass Scott Connor, who's singing the role of Escamillo in our production of Carmen. Scott, welcome to San Diego.
Thank you so much.
There's so many of you in this cast who are debut artists with us, so let's just dig into history a little bit. Where are you from originally, and how did you get into opera?
Oh, wow, quite the story. I'm from Olathe, Kansas, suburb of Kansas City, born and raised there. I grew up a Kansas City Chiefs football fan and Royals fan, so I was more of a sports guy growing up. I played Little League football and basketball and wrestled. And then
You do mean, of course, Little League, football.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes.
and I hope you're all impressed that I got that. Good.
That was my life until about 15, and voice all of a sudden dropped. I was taking choir as an easy grade, what I thought would be.
But it never is.
It never is easy. It was a challenge, and then I ended up really enjoying it.
Wow.
My choir teacher heard something in the voice and thought it would be a good idea that I go and take some private lessons for a little competition that they were going to have later on in the year. And I said, well, okay, why not? And as it turns out, I was quite good at it.
And it just clicked, huh?
It clicked. I had never heard a sound like opera before in my life. I grew up listening to Elvis and things my parents and of course my generation of music. And so opera for me was still quite foreign. And it was one of these things that when I heard it, it had a huge impact on me. And I ended up quitting all of the football and really upset my coaches. And I said, look, I want to pursue the choir and theater.
Wow.
And so I started taking 2 piano lessons a week to catch. I thought I had to catch up. It was something that I had to learn. And so I started from notes and rhythms and just worked my way all the way up.
So now you're one of those singers who can accompany yourself?
Yeah, I
or
do try. Closer? Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy sitting down at the piano. Some of my scores are quite difficult, so playing Strauss is not exactly my forte. No, but for things like this, I can absolutely play, the fun parts and I'm able to make that work.
Well, not every singer has that ability. This is something that we discovered in music school as well. Those of us who had a piano background, it was so much easier to get through harmony and counterpoint and theory.
And it really benefited me actually when I got into college. I did my undergrad in vocal performance at the University of Missouri Kansas City Conservatory, and it really had a wonderful effect on me because I was able to breeze through theory and all of the musical classes that a lot of people struggled with.
It helps.
I was mentally able to see the piano, and it made all of the difference
Isn't
for
that
me.
great? Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, now this begs the question: what was the first live opera you saw, and did that sort of knock you back?
Of course. So the very first one was Magic Flute. I saw it in Kansas City, and I loved it. I thought it was the queen of the night, and was amazing. And then for me as a bass, of course, I listened to the Zarostro, and here again, it had a huge impact on me because I was only 15 when I had started.
Wow.
So, and then my very first opera I ever performed in was Manon, and I was in the chorus at the university, and I was 16. So I went in and auditioned for the university. My teacher happened to be the head voice professor.
Then you had a little inside scoop.
I had a little inside. They needed basses, so I said, of course, I'll go in and sing in French.
Listen, they always need basses.
They need basses. And you know what?
Great.
She taught me French from word by word, vowel by vowel. And here I am now.
And here you are
singing in French.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Escamillo.
Of course.
Who is Escamillo, and what is your take on this character?
He is the champion bullfighter. He is a celebrity in his own town. Really, these guys were they were cherished by their people. They were thought of as I said, as celebrities. Even statesmen, royalty would look highly upon them. So I try to bring that out, but in this production in particular, we're trying to make them more human, I think, and we have a fun little bit in the aria where I sing to a little boy, and maybe he's the next Toreador,
Okay.
And so
Nice.
it's very cute, and it actually shows a more human, maybe a fatherly side to Escamillo that maybe Carmen finds attractive and she didn't even know. So there are these elements that we've added into this production,
very
which
cool.
I think is fun, and the kids are great as well. So,
Well, it's interesting to me that your big number, the so-called Toreador Song,
Yes.
Botlatos,
Yes.
Was almost an afterthought. It was like the last thing
Right.
that Bizet
Right.
added.
Right.
I believe at the request of the singer.
Well, and a lot
Is
of
that
this
right?
happened. A lot of this happened, especially if a singer felt like there wasn't enough in the part.
Right.
In this particular case, yes.
And then it ended up being the hit
The
tune
hit of the
show.
tune. I know. It's the hit of the show, and it stays in your ear for days afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's one of these arias actually that I always thought was more of a baritone aria, but it actually fits in my voice perfectly.
I was going to go a little further.
Yeah.
Because, I've always thought of it as a baritone. And then,
Sure.
I'm always a little taken aback that it really is for bass, and the bass color is absolutely right for it.
Yeah.
But you've got to have the notes. It lies high.
The entire role sits really on my upper register, about as high as I go. And I don't consider this to have any low notes whatsoever, although a lot of the baritones seem to have a lot of trouble with the lower aspects of it. And so it's one of these tricky roles where you have to be able to negotiate the top registers, and I have to make sure I'm physically prepared the day of the show. I really have to be in good voice and have to keep my body up and in good shape.
So generally speaking, what do you do for yourself to keep yourself in shape so that you can?
Yeah.
Because Escamillo is almost always dressed. Well, certainly in the last act, he's dressed in a
Of
matador's
course.
outfit.
Of course.
Those are pretty tight fitting.
Absolutely. I go to the gym. I make sure I'm always in shape. It helps me with the breath control. It helps me keep my body in line. And I try to keep a balance in my life. I work hard, but I also like to go and go out to the beach, especially San Diego. I'm able to walk around, and when your brain is in the right place, it seems that the body follows, and you're really, San Diego has been great for that.
It almost always is.
To walk down by the pier and to
Yeah.
come back to rehearsal, and such. It actually is
It's refreshing. Isn't
refreshing,
It?
relaxing is the most important.
The body and the spirit need that.
Absolutely.
Other roles for you, then, I would imagine that you sing Mephistopheles.
Yes, I just started that. I was able to cover it at Chicago this past year, so that was my first really jump into the role, and it fits perfectly. I would love to begin to start singing these. Usually they're done by about guys that are about 5-10 years older than me currently, so I'm right on the edge of being able to start performing these.
But it would be nice to see a tall,
svelte,
younger Mephisto.
I agree with you. Yes, I would love to do this. And here again, I think we're about at that time where it fits in the voice, fits in my body.
How about the villains in Hoffmann?
Here again, another perfect role for me. I sang it at my postgrad at Academy of Vocal Arts in Philadelphia.
Oh, you went to AVA?
I went to AVA for 3 years, and I had the opportunity to do the Michael Kay version of the Tales of Hoffmann there. So I've done all 4 villains. Just looking for an opportunity to do them again.
So they're all in there.
They're in there. I'm just
got to get your agent working.
Exactly. You know, I do a lot of Baroque. You know, people don't hear that in my voice usually, but I'm a coloratura bass, so I sing Rossini, Handel, and a lot of early music.
I saw Heliogaballo on your resume. Tell us just a little bit about that. The name of the composer is escaping me. It's not Caccini.
Cavalli.
Cavalli.
Yes. I debuted that at the Paris National Opera at the Garnier Opera House a couple years ago. This is written, I believe, 1650s.
And it's a crazy story.
And you know what? I had no idea about this Caesar, but he, around 200 AD, and the Roman Emperor Heliogabalus was really the height of what you would consider debauchery. In fact, in Latin, Heliogabalus means debaucherous, the debaucherous one. And he embodied everything that was grotesque. You know, he would...
This is a rated G podcast.
Okay, great. Well,
if I can find some images, I'll slap them up there.
Yeah.
But I'll be really careful about.
You know what?
The ones I choose.
It was a great opera, and great bass roles for that repertoire, especially.
Yeah.
You know, the older music has really wonderful bass roles.
We have got to rediscover those old scores.
Yes,
particularly here on the West Coast. I know New York sees more of those, and Europe sees more of them. The operas of Cavalli, particularly, and it's such wonderful repertoire.
You know, there's so many operas that we really do. You know, maybe 100 of the same operas over and over again, and I find that there are so many good ones that are not known anymore, that in their day were extremely popular for decades, even centuries, and they've just been lost to time. And these composers were brilliant. They knew how to write for the voices.
And they're great theater.
Absolutely.
And they're also, they're open in the sense that a director and singing actors can do things with them because there's no real living tradition yet, right?
And we get to recreate all of these.
Yeah, but I mean, with Carmen, there are so many traditions that are encrusted on the piece. It's really hard to take those out and look at them differently, although I know directors try, and it's wonderful that they do. But those earlier operas, they're wide open books, right? And it's just...
Absolutely. You know, you can actually recreate a piece, and it's absolutely fun to do. The historical part of it is so exciting for me to get to know these stories, and some of them are very true in the case of Heliogaballo. So it's amazing to find out just what really happened, and it gives a director and the singers some more freedom to really perform and make good art.
I love it. What's up for you next?
Oh, I spend the summer doing Salome and Spoleto Festival, and then I go to Bart's Festival after that, and then I go make my Philadelphia debut in The Love for Three Oranges, and then
wonderful.
I'm back at the Met for Rosencavalier. I debuted a couple of years ago in the Robert Carson production, so I'll finish out my year at the Met.
Terrific. It sounds like a very rich canvas of things that you can choose to do.
I try to spread it around, and it's been working wonderful. I'm very happy to finally be going back to Philadelphia as well. I haven't sung there since I went to AVA, so
that's great.
I'm just now starting to get back to the States, and really do my debuts here.
Right. Well, Scott, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
And we're all very much looking forward to Carmen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.